I have spoken several times on this channel about using the Junior SIPP, that is the Junior Self-Invested Personal Pension, to secure my son's financial future. And whenever I mention the Junior SIPP on this channel, I always get a lot of questions about it. So I thought, why not create a video encompassing all what the Junior SIPP is all about, so that whenever anybody asks me about it, I can always send the video to them or share the link of the video to them instead of repeating myself over and over and over again. And I'm certain that there are some people who have watched some of my personal finance videos where I mentioned the Junior SIPP and are also wondering, okay, what is this Junior SIPP? That's why I decided to create this video, just to encompass everything I know about the Junior SIPP. Now, with that said, let me give a bit of disclaimer before we dive into the video proper. Please note that I'm not a financial advisor, neither am I an accountant. Whatever I say in this video is based on my thoughts, what I'm doing, and my research. So anything I say should not be taken as professional advice. It should not be taken as any kind of advice. Just see it as my own opinion. And if you need help managing your finances, please do well to consult a financial advisor. Now let's get into the video proper. So as a parent, especially as an immigrant parent, securing my child's future has become increasingly important to me, as I do want him to have an excellent monetary standing. And one of the most effective ways I have come across to ensure long-term wealth for my child in the UK is through the Junior SIPP. Now, while most people would think of pensions as something for later life, so they do not even consider having a pension plan for their children, I see starting a pension plan early for my son as a way to create enormous growth potential when it comes to money. And the Junior SIPP has been a way for me to secure his financial future for his later life. So with that said, in this video I will cover what is a Junior SIPP, its key benefits, how much you can invest in a Junior SIPP, my investment strategies for my son's Junior SIPP, how it can make him a millionaire, risk and considerations, how to set up a Junior SIPP, best providers for the Junior SIPP here in the UK, and I will touch on some frequently asked questions that people would normally ask about the Junior SIPP. Now, first things first, what is a Junior SIPP? A Junior SIPP is a unique long-term retirement savings account designed specifically for children under the age of 18 in the UK, offering distinctive advantages over other investment options. Now, the Junior SIPP actually operates much like the regular SIPP you would have here in the UK for planning for your pension, but with the added advantage of being under the control of a parent or a guardian until the child reaches 18. Now, when the child reaches 18, the child cannot still access the funds in the Junior SIPP because the funds are locked until the child reaches retirement age in the UK, which currently is 57 years, but it could increase in the future. But what happens when the child reaches 18 is that you can transfer the account to the child for the child to keep running the account, or for the child to choose the kind of investment they want to make with the funds in that account, or for the child to keep adding more funds to the account by themselves when they start to work. So when they reach 18, you can hands off from the account and not put money there, and maybe they put money from their part-time jobs or their full-time jobs, and they start to plan and think of their own retirement. And one of the reasons I like the Junior SIPP and I open it for my son is that I want to help him cultivate the habit of investing early. So now that I'm doing it for him, I mean, he's just a toddler, so he doesn't really understand, but I try to involve him as much as I can. And as he grows older, I would like to teach him financial literacy, financial independence, and how to invest and how money works, so that he understands how to invest the funds in his Junior SIPP properly, and so that he can continue to invest for his later life by himself. So that's one of the reasons I actually opened the Junior SIPP. Apart from wanting to make him a millionaire, which I will explain how that can help him become a millionaire, I also want to imbibe the culture of investing and saving into him from an early age. I keep saying I. Anyway, my husband and I, we are the one that want to do this for our son. Like, we want to teach him about finances. Now, I digress. Let's continue with the video. So, unlike traditional pensions, a junior SIPP offers a high degree of control over investment choices, including shares, funds, bonds, and other financial instruments. Now, one of the primary purposes of a junior SIPP is to take advantage of the tax relief and long-term compound growth opportunities. Now, I will touch on this primary purpose later in the video, but let's continue. So let's continue and let me touch on the key benefits of a junior SIPP. Now, one thing we all can agree on is that UK and taxes are like 5 and 6. So one of the most significant advantages of a junior SIPP is the tax relief provided by the government. For every contribution you make each tax year, the UK government will actually top it up by 20%, but there's a limitation. Like, you cannot contribute more than £2,880 to the account per tax year. So, for example, if you contribute £2,880 per tax year, which is the max you can put in that account, the UK government would add £720 to that account, making the total contribution £3,600 per tax year. And this is not public funds. So if you're a foreigner living here in the UK on a visa, you don't have to worry about accessing public funds or this being public fund. This is not public fund. It's called tax relief. Now, the second benefit of this account is that the earlier you start contributing, the more time your investments have to grow as a result of compounding interest. Now, for those who don't know, compound interest is the growth of the original investment and accumulated earnings over a long-term period. So compounding can significantly increase the portfolio's value. So for instance, with an assumed average annual return of, let's say, 5%, a 3,600 contribution at the birth of a child could potentially grow exponentially by the time they reach their retirement age, showcasing the significant growth potential of a junior SIPP. So that's one good thing with this junior SIPP. Now let's move on to the third talking point, which is how much can you invest in a junior SIPP? Now, when it comes to the junior SIPP, how much you can invest is kind of limited. Now, the maximum contribution you can make to the junior SIPP for your child is £3,600 per tax year. So a tax year here in the UK is from April of the year you are in to April of the next year. So for example, the tax year we are right now in the UK started April 2024 and it will end April 2025. So that's how they calculate tax year here in the UK. Now, this maximum contribution includes both personal contribution and the tax relief provided by the UK government. So you are not the one putting the whole £3,600 in that account. So what I'm trying to say is that you would only need to contribute £2,880, right? And the UK government would add an extra £720, and like I said, this is not public fund. So basically they will add 20% of whatever you put in that account. The max you can contribute for a tax year, if you want to contribute into the junior SIPP for your child or for your grandchild or for your ward, if you are like a guardian, or for your niece and nephew, the highest amount you can contribute is £2,880, and the highest amount the UK government would give you per tax year is £720. I hope this is clear enough. Now, for some who are financially buoyant, you might think, £2,880 per year, that's like £240 a month, that's like chicken change. Well, while the annual cap might seem modest, the potential of immense growth over the long term due to compounding interest and tax relief is truly an optimistic way to look at this account if you are like buoyant and you want to do more with your money for your child. And you can also consider opening the junior ISA. Now, let me say that the junior ISA is different from the Junior SIPP, and I have a whole video detailing what the Junior JISA is all about. I'll link that video to this video for those who are interested in watching it. Now let's talk about the investment strategies for a Junior SIPP, like how you can strategize when you're using this account. Now, the investment strategy for a Junior SIPP depends largely on risk tolerance and the time horizon. Now, since a Junior SIPP is a long-term investment, meaning that you are meant to invest for several decades to come or several years to come, you can typically afford to make like high-risk investments such as investing in stocks and shares, which is an equity that tends to offer like the highest returns over the long term. The second thing you can also invest in is index funds, or what they call ETFs. These provide diversification and lower fees. Now, if you have been following my personal finance videos for a while, I made a video where I talked about how I am investing my money here in the UK and what I'm doing with my money here in the UK. And in that video, I spoke about diversification and how it is important to always diversify your portfolio. If you want to know more on how to diversify your investment, right, or the investment you're making for your child, if you just want to know how to do that diversification, go watch that video to provide you with some tips. Thirdly, you can invest the money in the Junior SIPP in bonds. So they are a safer way to invest your money, but they actually offer low returns, but it can make your investment stable, like it can stabilize your portfolio. Now, always have it in mind that a balanced portfolio that tilts towards equities in the early years and then gradually incorporates safer assets like bonds can maximize growth while managing risk. Personally, for now, I am investing the funds in my son's Junior SIPP in the S&P 500 and a special diversified pension fund created by the provider I am using. So that's what I'm doing with the funds in my son's Junior SIPP. Now let's move on to the next talking point for this video, which is how the Junior SIPP can make your child a millionaire, or how I believe it can make my own child a millionaire because I know that's why most of you clicked on this video anyway. The magic of a Junior SIPP lies in the combination of tax relief, long-term investment, and compounding returns. Now, let me give you a simplified scenario showing how my child can become a millionaire based on how I am contributing into his Junior SIPP and what I'm doing with the money in the Junior SIPP. Like I mentioned, I invest in the S&P 500 and a diversified personal pension fund created by the service provider I use. Now, before I gave birth to my son, right, I was always reading about how to make your child a millionaire. I don't know why I was obsessed about that topic. Like now, my husband, we would always do research on that topic. We were obsessed with that topic. And that's how we came across the Junior SIPP. So before we even gave birth to him. So when we gave birth to him, like a few weeks or months after we gave birth to him, we opened the Junior SIPP. And ever since we opened our Junior SIPP, we have always contributed £2,880 per tax year ever since we opened the Junior SIPP. And it's going to be 3 years this year that we've opened the Junior SIPP. And we've always gotten the max amount we can get, which is the £720 tax relief we get from the UK government in that account. So what this means is that since I gave birth to my son, each tax year in a SIPP account, he would have £3,600. Now, I started investing a maximum of £3,600 since giving birth to my son in the S&P 500, right? And in that special fund I told you guys about that my provider created. Why am I even saying my provider? I use Agra's Lansdowne. So yeah. Now I intend on contributing the max contribution and getting the max bonus I can get from the UK government to add to the money I have and keep investing it in the S&P 500 and in that special pension fund until it turns 18. When it turns 18, I intend on stopping. Now, let's now assume that after he turns 18 and I stopped contributing to his Junior SIPP, I handed the Junior SIPP account to him. And let's assume that he gets a modest average annual return of 5% on that account, like on the investment he has made through that account. And let's assume that the investment is allowed to grow untouched for the next 40 years. When my son reaches retirement age, which as of today is 57 years, the portfolio would potentially exceed £1 million. So that is the strategy, guys. Compounding interest and you consistently putting money in the account for almost 2 decades and waiting for the money to grow for almost 4 decades. So you see why starting early and being consistent are key to leveraging the enlightening power of like compound interest. So it's very important that if you're looking to secure your child's financial future in their later years, start now. Now let me move on to the 6th talking point of this video, which is the risk and considerations. Because while this SIPP account seems like the next best thing after sliced bread because it offers many benefits, there are risks to be aware of. Now, the first risk is that the value of the investment you make with the money in that account can go down as well as it can go up. Secondly, the funds in the Junior SIPP are locked until retirement, which means your child will not be able to access the funds in that account, or you will not be able to access the funds in that account. Only your child can access the funds in the account when they reach at least the age of 57 years old here in the UK, which is the retirement age, and they are even looking to increase the retirement age, so it takes a long time to be able to access the funds in that account. Lastly, the pension contributions and the tax relief rules can change over time. We all know that the UK government and changes to the laws, like the UK laws and policies, are ever evolving, ever changing. So they can reduce the tax relief they offer. They can reduce it from 20% to 10%, or they can increase it from 20% to 30%, or whatever percentage you want to increase it to. And they can increase the amount of money you can put there, or they can reduce the amount of money you can put there. So they can increase the contribution limit, or they can reduce it. So, you know, with the UK government, you don't know. Now let's move on to the 7th talking point, which I know a lot of you already like asking your mind, like, okay, how do we set up a Junior SIPP? Like, I want to know how. Now, setting up a Junior SIPP is relatively simple. The first thing you want to do when it comes to setting up a Junior SIPP for your child is to research providers that offer Junior SIPPs and compare fees and investment options and customer service reviews online. When I was choosing a Junior SIPP provider for my son, I just went with Agra's Lansdowne because that was where my live ISA was, and I could not be bothered doing any other research. I just knew that HL was good, and I just went with HL. To be fair, I didn't do any research. I just went with what was convenient for me because I was already using that platform for my live ISA and my stocks and shares ISA basically, and my cash ISA. So yeah, that's why I just went with HL. Now, the second thing you want to do after researching which providers would best suit your goal you have in mind, or how you want to handle the Junior SIPP account for your child, is to just open the account. You know, you will open the account on behalf of your child. So it's you that is the parent, or maybe you that is the guardian, or the grandmother, or the auntie, or the uncle, or maybe a big sister or brother that you are related, like the child is related to you. You will just open the account on behalf of your child. The third thing you want to do is to set up regular contributions. Either you want to be contributing weekly, daily, monthly, or annually, or you want to make one lump sum deposit. Like you want to pay like £2,880 like upfront, you know, that's what you want to do. Just set up like regular contribution. Like when I opened my son's Junior SIPP, I think I had to open it with, is it £50 or £100? I can't remember number. Put it in mind that some providers would ask you to put in money when you're opening the account, but the money they'll ask you to put is not actually much, or you can just choose how you want to be making your contributions to the account. In short, you can choose not to make any contribution. Maybe you don't have money, but just open it with maybe £50 or £100. And whenever you have money, you can always put it in the account and invest it how you see fit. I think touching on investment in my third point brings me nicely to my fourth point, which is to choose the investment strategy that aligns with your goals and risk tolerance. Now, let me touch on the best providers for Junior SIPPs here in the UK, because now that I've mentioned HL, everybody will just gonna be opening HL. but you don't have to open HL because I will share some of the top junior SIPP providers here in the UK. The first one is obviously HL because that's the one I used as Agras Lansdowne. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. So this provider is actually known for its wide range of investment options. That's why I went for them in the first place. The second provider is AJ Bell. I would actually recommend you go for AJ Bell instead of HL. I wished I knew about AJ Bell before I opened it HL, but anyway, it's all good because all the service provider, like all these ISA providers, they have their advantages and they also have their disadvantages. So just pick one and stick with the struggle, really. Now, AJ Bell offers low-cost options and easy management access. We also have Fidelity. Now, Fidelity offers a user-friendly platform and low fees. Now, let me touch on the last talking point for this video, which is frequently asked questions about the junior SIPP. Now, the first question people would usually ask about this junior SIPP is that, is the junior SIPP and the junior ISA the same? Now, the junior SIPP and junior ISA are not the same. No, no, no. A junior ISA, that is a junior individual savings account, and a junior SIPP, which is the self-invested personal pension, are not the same, though they are tax-efficient savings account designed for children here in the UK, and they are used by parents here in the UK or guardians or grandparents here in the UK to save for their children's later life. The key difference is that the funds in the junior ISA are not accessible to the child until the child turns 18, whereas the junior SIPP funds are locked until retirement age, so until the child reaches retirement age before the child can access the money in that account. So the junior ISA is actually more flexible for medium-term savings, while the junior SIPP is strictly for long-term retirement savings. Now, the next question is, can I transfer a junior ISA into a junior SIPP? No, you can't do that. The junior ISA and the junior SIPPs are separate types of accounts, and you cannot transfer funds between them. Even though they are accounts that provide like tax relief, you cannot mix them together. You cannot transfer funds from the junior SIPP to the junior ISA. The third question is, can grandparents contribute to a junior SIPP? Yes, anyone can contribute to a child's junior SIPP, including grandparents, uncles, aunties, even friends, extended family. Anybody can contribute to your child's junior SIPP, but the total annual contribution cannot exceed £2,880. Now, when my son is having his birthday and relative would ask, oh, what does he want? I'll just say, okay, you can just always send us the cash if you don't know what gift to buy for him, and then we can transfer the cash into his junior SIPP, or you can do it yourself. So yes, I know this for a fact that you can send links or maybe the account number, and then family and friends can always contribute towards your child's SIPP, maybe on their birthday if they don't know what gift to buy for them. And may I mention that I do have the junior SIPP and the junior ISA. The junior ISA, my husband and I are saving money there and investing for our son, so that when it comes time for him to go to university, because we would like for him to go to university, he would have the money to pay for university if he does not want to go through like apprenticeship. I would actually like him to go to university through apprenticeship, but if he doesn't want to go to university through apprenticeship and he wants to do the normal education route, like go to uni instead of doing apprenticeship, he would have the money to do that. And if he goes through apprenticeship, I want him to have the money to pay for his cost of living and lifestyle, irrespective if he does his undergraduate through apprenticeship or he goes to traditional school. He would have money to cover it. I don't want him to take out loan. Now, the last question I would answer is, what happens to the junior SIPP when the child turns 18? I've answered this question before, like touched on it in the video, but I would answer it separately, should in case maybe someone missed it. Now, the junior SIPP will be transferred to your child and they will have control over the investment. However, they can only access the funds in that account at their retirement age here in the UK, or at the official retirement age here in the UK. When they get to that age, that's when they'll be able to like access the money in that account. Now, in conclusion, the junior SIPP is one of the most powerful financial tools to secure your child's future and potentially make them millionaires by the time they retire. By starting early, taking advantage of the tax relief, and utilizing compound growth, you can set your child on the path to long-term financial security. Kindly remember that although the funds are locked in until retirement age, the benefits far outweighs the limitation. Now, I know that I touched on the Junior JISA earlier on in this video, so if you want to know more about the Junior JISA, watch the video on your screen right now.